All right, let's talk about the TOK exhibition. It's one of those first big hurdles in the IB, and honestly, it can be pretty daunting. If you're staring at a blank page right now, just wondering where to even begin, well, you're in the right place. We're going to break down exactly how to pick an object that sets you up for a great score.
And look, that is not an exaggeration. This one decision is literally the foundation for your entire project. If you get it right, the analysis just flows. But if you get it wrong, you're going to spend weeks trying to jam a square peg into a round hole, forcing connections that just don't exist. So our goal here isn't just to get a good grade. It's to make this whole process way, way smoother for you. But here's the thing. There's this one super common mistake, a trap that so many students fall into. It feels like the right thing to do, it feels creative, but it's actually the #1 reason exhibitions end up just being meh. So today, we're going to tear that mistake apart and build a much better method in its place. So what is this big mistake I'm talking about? Well, it's all about your starting point. So many students think the very first step is to just find a really interesting object, something personal, something, cool. But that's exactly where it all starts to go sideways. This is it. You find an old concert ticket or your grandfather's watch and you think, yes, this is perfect. Then you go to the list of 35 official IA prompts and you try to find one, anyone, that you can sort of make your object fit into. It's a totally backward approach, and it almost always leads to a weak, flimsy argument. You're putting the cart way, way before the horse. So, how do we fix this? It's not some big, complicated secret. It's actually just a simple switch in your thinking, a golden rule that flips the whole process around and puts you on a much clearer path to a top score. And here it is, side by side. The wrong way is like trying to find a key without knowing what lock you're trying to open. The right way, though, gives you the destination first, the prompt, and then lets you pick the perfect vehicle, your object, to get you there. You start with the question you actually want to explore, not with an object you're trying to force into an answer. This is the absolute core principle. Your object is not the star of the show. The prompt is. Your object is just the evidence. It exists for one reason and one reason only: to help you explore that IA prompt. Your commentary, your analysis, your final grade, it all comes down to how well you explore that prompt. The object is just the tool you use. So where do you even start? Well, just read through the official list of prompts and find one that genuinely makes you curious. Seriously, are you fascinated by what we consider a fact? Then maybe what counts as knowledge is a great fit. Are you interested in bias and how different people see the world? Then how does our perspective influence our knowledge could be perfect for you. Start with what interests you. Okay, so you've picked a prompt you actually like. Awesome. Now what? Now we get to the fun part. Let's build on that with a super practical 4-step framework that will help you find an object that doesn't just fit, but actually makes your exhibition shine. We've already nailed step 1. That's our golden rule. So now we're going to break down the other 3, which are all about finding an object with enough substance, making sure it connects to those big TOK ideas, and then, of course, presenting it all nice and clearly. Step 2 is all about what I call real-world depth. So what on earth does that mean? It means your object isn't just a static thing. It has a story, a context, it has layers. It's something that you and I could look at and see totally different things. That ambiguity is where all the juicy TOK analysis comes from. Let's make this super clear. A pencil? Well, it's a pencil. A clock tells time. They're shallow. There's not much to say. But a family immigration document? Whoa. Now that is packed with story, with history, culture, personal struggle. A biased news headline isn't just words. It represents perspective, power, what's said, and what's left unsaid. See the difference? One is a dead end. The other is a doorway. Okay, on to step 3. Connecting to knowledge. Once you think you have a good object with some depth, you've got to put it to the test. You need to interrogate it with questions like these. Don't just describe what it is. Ask what knowledge claims it's making. Ask who's left out of its story. This is how you jump from just describing something to doing real, high-level TOK analysis. And here's a fantastic little rule of thumb for you. The magic number is 5. If you can't quickly brainstorm at least 5 distinct, meaningful TOK-style insights or questions about your object, it's probably not the one. That's a huge red flag. This simple test can save you a ton of time and prevent you from committing to a weak object. And finally, step 4 is all about clarity. You do not get extra points for using big, complicated words. Honestly, examiners just want to see that you can think clearly. So just follow this simple structure in your commentary. Tell them the basics, explain the link, analyze the deeper meaning, and then, crucially, tell them why any of this even matters. It's simple, direct, and really effective.
So, does this method actually work in the real world? You bet it does. Let's take a look at a few examples from some high-scoring exhibitions. You'll see exactly how choosing the prompt first leads to really powerful and focused analysis.
Okay, check these out. For the prompt, what counts as knowledge? A medical x-ray is brilliant. It's a type of knowledge we trust, but it's made by a machine and needs an expert to even interpret it. For perspective, what's better than a political newspaper? An object literally built on framing and bias. And for new knowledge, a DNA diagram is perfect to show how our scientific models change over time. You see, in every single case, the object is the perfect piece of evidence for the chosen prompt.
Look, the whole point of this entire process is to move you from that feeling of anxiety and being totally overwhelmed by the TOK exhibition to feeling confident, in control, and like you know exactly what you're doing. And that confidence comes from having a clear method. So, if you remember one thing, and I mean one thing from this whole explainer, please make it this. The prompt is the boss. Your object is the employee. Your object's only job is to provide evidence for, to explore, and to illuminate the prompt that you've chosen. Never, ever forget that hierarchy. And with that, I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. Just look around you right now. Your phone, a book on your desk, an old movie ticket, a poster on your wall. If you apply the framework we just talked about, which one of those things stops being just a thing and starts telling a really complex story about how we know what we know? The answer might actually surprise you.